Hey, what's going on, guys? War Brothers Collectibles here. Welcome back to another video. Today I want to talk about my Red Sonja comic book collection. So I started reading Red Sonja maybe about 7 or 8 years ago, and then it wasn't until the pandemic when we were all at home that I really started getting back into them, and I bought a few more of the graphic novels, and I really enjoy them. I'm not an expert or like a hardcore fan. I'm pretty much just a casual reader of these, but I do really enjoy them. They're probably one of my favorite comic book series to collect. I don't have that many, but the ones I do have, I've really enjoyed, and we will take a look at them in a moment. But of course, it all started with the Red Sonja movie when I was looking at getting into more Arnold Schwarzenegger films. I guess this is when I discovered Red Sonja. I picked this up for £1.50, really cheap, on DVD. It's funny that it's labelled a Schwarzenegger film just for like publicity reasons, because it's not. It's really a Bridget Nielsen film. He's very much a side character. He's meant to be essentially Conan the Barbarian, but for whatever reason they couldn't use the name, so they've changed his name to Lord Calidor, but he's pretty much the same character. I really want to get this on 4K, and I will do in the very near future. Very cheesy, but good sword and sorcery film nonetheless. It's a guilty pleasure, really. I do really enjoy this film, and I can't wait to get it on 4K. So that's where it pretty much all started for me, getting a Red Sonja and really starting to discover the character. The first one I bought was this one, Red Sonja Unchained. This was the first one that I ever read. I picked this up for $14.99. Absolutely love, let me just move that out the way. Absolutely love this comic book. This was like my first introduction to the comic book world of Red Sonja, and it's just absolutely awesome. I just love the whole kind of sword and sorcery fantasy things anyway, but it's so brutal, it's so violent, and just it's a really good, engaging story, and I love the artwork, and I just think it's a really great read. I've read this a few times. It's one that I always revisit when I want to get my Red Sonja comic book collection out again. I don't know like where it fits in terms of the character's timeline or anything like that. As I say, this was just the first one I picked up for a casual read to try and get into the character, and it's a really great one. So if you haven't read this one before, I do highly recommend it. This was where I started, and it got me really into the character. I can't remember which one I bought next, but let's just take a look at the other ones that I own. Red Sonja Atlantis Rises. Don't really remember this one, to be fair. I think it was just kind of okay. The artwork's kind of different. I wasn't really a big fan of the design of this one, I suppose. Again, it was a really quick read. I'm going to actually read all these again, to be honest. That's what's on my reading list to do. Start reading all these again. Red Sonja and Tarzan crossover. Quite random, I suppose, but I remember this one being quite awesome. It's quite big, so it was quite a longer read. I can't really remember much about it, to be fair. I think it was something to do with the two timelines crossover, and they've got to team up to defeat what evil, I suppose. But artwork much better on this one. Really did enjoy this one at the time, because I'm a big fan of the Tarzan character as well. So when I saw this on Amazon, Red Sonja and Tarzan, I was like, oh, that sounds interesting. So I picked that one up, and I read this one during the COVID pandemic. Really enjoyed this one. Then this one is a hardback. Had to pick this one up when I saw it. Red Sonja and, of course, Conan. This one is a really awesome team up. I really enjoyed this one. This one was awesome. Again, kind of a back to form with the artwork. As I said, I know nothing about the artists, the illustrators. I'm not really that into it in terms of being a hardcore fan, but I did really enjoy this one. They're absolutely brutal. They're really entertaining and really good storylines. and this was another good pickup. Really good one. That I really enjoyed that one. I love the front cover on this one. I just think it's so cool. And then the last one I have is Red Sonja and the Black Tower. I think I've read this one twice. Really like the artwork and illustrations in this one. And I remember it being better than Atlantis Rises. As I've read this one a few times as I can remember. Really awesome one to read. I do want to pick up these collections, volumes 1, 2, and 3. I plan on doing that sometime in the near future and reading more of these comics. She's just an awesome character in the fantasy sword and sorcery world. If you've never heard of Red Sonja, maybe check her out, especially if you're into that kind of thing. Conan the Barbarian, that sort of thing. They are really good stories. I always enjoy like the idea of the lone warrior, the traveller, stops off at a town, goes into the tavern, gets a drink, gets into some trouble, goes on a quest. I always like that kind of thing, that kind of lone warrior or kind of a Ronin sort of thing. That's another good one, actually. The Last Ronin, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. That one is another good comic book. So yeah, I love the idea of the kind of lone warrior, the traveller. And this is what Red Sonja does. She just gets into loads of adventures on her travels. No man can have her until they defeat her in single combat. That is the kind of overall theme of the character, which of course is really intriguing. So yeah, this was my Red Sonja graphic novel collection. Again, as I say, I'm going to pick up the 4K version of the Bridget Nielsen film, because I really enjoyed that. I'm going to pick that up very soon. And yeah, I look at getting more Red Sonja books in the future. Thanks for watching and take care.